And I can tell you that I know that is true. And I think they're already starting to happen. But you have to look for them at first. But I mean, real miracles are around the corner in this country. One is, and I know you talked about your Freedom Rides for Life. I have been speaking at pro-life groups a lot, and being pro-life has always been you got to be pretty hardcore to put up with what you have to put up with if you're pro-life. Quite honestly,
that's true.
Then these people and people like you guys both have been working on this for a long time, and I can tell you that I have been speaking in front of some of these groups, and I can feel it. That prepare. You guys have tilled the ground, but prepare. Things are coming, and people are coming. There's just a change that I feel like we're on the precipice of. Do you feel that?
Well, I do feel it, and I see it in the people. I see hope. I see promise. People are, for lack of a more spiritual word, more positive. And so when you're approaching people and you're saying that we need to care about each other, there needs to be more unity, there needs to be more love. God has given us a new anthem in the pro-life movement called The Least of These. The word abortion is not in the anthem. It'll be released at Pro-Life Freedom Rides next week, Jubilee Fest this summer. We're going to sing it for you. I believe you've invited us. But it just talks about the least of these. And so we've been forced through issues like Katrina, what happened in Haiti, now with the oil spill. People are that's a miracle that people's hearts are turning back, first to God, and then to each other, and to really care about other people. I believe that's a genuine miracle. I really do.
Right. I think you're dead on, Glenn, that we are a people of hope. And that means the Greek word for hope is elpedzo. Elpedzo means a future expectation of something good is going to happen. And in the midst of what we are seeing, and listen, we as believers do not determine what we do based upon what we see, but rather on who we know. And so we walk by faith and not by sight. And so our expectation is that something good is going to happen. And it's manifesting itself, I think, through what we're seeing in the Tea Party movement. These are Americans who are standing up, exercising a right that they did not know or exercise in the past. And that right is of free speech and to be engaged in the rescue or the exercise of their liberty. We, the people, are now starting to recognize a stewardship responsibility. I think that's a miracle. Because
can you say why the NAACP is wrong for saying that the Tea Party is? Can you talk about?
Yeah, I tell you what. Let me take a break, because I'm up against a break. So let me take a break here, and let me just say this, because we'll get into that after the break. Unless you're running against Jesus, I hope you're the victor in Texas. My gosh, do we need a man like you in Congress?
Oh yeah.
Back in just a second.
You bet.
Final moments now with Dr. King and Pastor Broden. And what we're talking about is the real civil rights. We're talking about what the principles were that we fought for in the American Revolution, the Civil War, and with Dr. King. We're never going to get it right, but it's our job to strive to get it right, to get it better each time. You wanted to talk a little bit about the NAACP and the Tea Party.
Well, I think the NAACP is not being honest in their assessment of the Tea Party. I don't think they are. The Tea Party is just an expression of a First Amendment right, the freedom of speech. And that right applies to them just like it does to the NAACP. They have a right to stand up and to make an observation concerning this administration, whether they are doing governance the way it was intended and designed within the Constitution and in the expectations of the Founding Fathers. And I think it's wrong to label them racist. That is a divisive attempt on the part of that organization to drive a wedge in our culture because people are standing up, exercising their First Amendment right. That's wrong.
I don't think the Tea Party is about Barack Obama. It's so much bigger than that. These people, I know, because I'm one of them. I was angry at George W. Bush.
I'm one of them.
I mean,
a Tea Party
it's Republican, it's Democrat, it's both of them. It is small government. Small government. Are there some racists there? I'm sure there are. Are there some racists in this building or in CNN or MSNBC? I'm sure there are. Because it's people.
There's certainly some in the new Black Panther Party. There's racists over there.
Right. We should concentrate on that.
And if we're going to call racism what it is, the NAACP need to be saying something specifically about them, because that statement was absent of a contemporary current event, of a statement made by the Black Panther Party. I think that it is deceptive. And it is an attempt on their part to drive a wedge in our country.
All right. So
and I just wanted to mention, I'm not a Tea Partier because it just happened at a time where I stepped back from political parties and began to pray. And so I'm praying for all my friends in the Tea Party. And I just pray and I pray and I pray. God's not a Republican, a Democrat, or a Tea Partier.
No, he's not.
But we've got to have God in the Tea Party. And I just happen to believe that you do.
I think this is an opportunity to say what the Tea Parties are really about. It's about returning back to the founding principles. And there's a book by Matthew Spaulding called We Still Hold These Truths. And he talks about returning back to the first principles. And the first principles, and he gives 10 of them. And I just want to share those 10 if you don't mind. Liberty, equality, national rights, religious right, consent of the governed, private property, the rule of law, constitutionalism, self-government, and independence. Those are ideas that made America one of the greatest nations in the world. Exceptionalism flows out of those principles.
Exactly right.
We need to return back to it. I believe the remedy for what we're facing in America today is a return back to those founding principles, to teach them to our children, to resist Dewey's idea of socializing kids as opposed to educating kids. We need to do that. And that means we, the people, the Tea Party, and the NAACP and other organizations returning back to those principles. And I think we can rescue America and put it back on track.
Okay, so let me go here, because I know that I just don't think it's a coincidence that the NAACP comes out and says that. The DOJ is, filing suit in Arizona. The Black Panthers come out. They are poking. They need people to react. They need anger in the streets. They need, you think this has been a tough week on this program this week? You wait until next week, and I'll show you what we're working on next week. I'm going to show you their blueprint. I'll show you where it came from, what they're doing, why they're doing it. And the secret is they need a race war or any kind of war, pulling each other apart. Divided we will fall. They know it.
That's Saul Alinsky. That's the rules for radicals. They're sowing discontent and moral confusion. If we would just stop for a moment and take a look at what's happening in America, there's discontent and there's moral confusion. When we say moral confusion, that means they're turning away from the Judeo principles.
Their tactic is division
and
fear. So love answers that. I really want to speak to the new Black Panther Party, NAACP, all of the listeners, no matter what political party you're in. Take the more excellent way. Take love. Answer.
People will
any
say,
concern with
but
love.
these people are militant. They're destroying our country. I say, let the Lord be your weapon and your shield.
The love of the Lord. Boldly proclaim the love of the Lord, and let that be your weapon. And resist hatred. Resist division. Resist it with love, because love conquers hate, and love never fails.
It is an honor to know you. It really is. It really is.
Thank you.
And Stephan, amen, brother. Amen, brother.
Amen to you.
A real founder. A real founder.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Amen to you.
All right, I want to remind you that if you're going to be in Salt Lake City this weekend, tickets for my American Revival. It is an incredible day about restoring faith, hope, and charity in America. This is the last chance to see it. David Buckner is going to be there. Judge Napolitano is going to be there. And, of course, David Barton. David Barton. So make sure you... Jeez, how do I forget David Barton? You can grab your tickets at glennbeck.com/tours for more information. It is tomorrow only in Salt Lake City. Back in a minute. Have you seen this document before? More people should read it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Live it. From New York, good night, America.